Well, hey everybody, it's Ben at EFI University, and I thought I would just take a couple of minutes and share with you a little of the EFI University story, what we're trying to do here, where we came from, and so on. I always joke that realistically what this building has to offer people is that when I was 20 or 21 years old, I always dreamed of having a shop that I could work at that had the ability to create and explore and measure and build things. So I basically have built the kind of place that I would have wanted to attend school at when I was back then trying to get experience. And I think so many people in this industry, especially you younger guys out there, struggle with the idea that I can't get hired anywhere because I don't have an experience, but I can't get any experience because I've never worked anywhere. I can't get on a race team or whatever. And so one of the difficult things about this day and age is that we are overwhelmed with information via the internet. But information is not the same thing as experience, right? And so going and working at a race team or at a machine shop or at an engine shop or whatever provides that experience that people need to transform information that's readily available into knowledge that's actually useful to them. So, every day something is going on here at the shop where we're doing something with the end goal of learning so that we can do a better job at teaching. So, I started out like many of you guys. I was young and in high school and had an enthusiasm for engines and cars and all that stuff. And I had a friend who he and his dad raced a Saturday night, circle track race team. And I was lucky enough to get to help them and work on that stuff and really kind of formed the foundation for my passion in this industry. And then I did a short, 4-year stint in the Navy. But even the whole time I was in the Navy traveling the world, I always knew that I wanted to be here doing this kind of stuff. And so I always joke and say, I don't have an engineering degree. I didn't take the traditional college path. But what I did do is I bought all the college textbooks. And so I had physics and thermodynamics and, geometry and algebra textbooks like I bought from the local college bookstore, and I took them on the ship and I went out to sea and I found people to mentor me and I gave myself homework assignments and I just worked to learn the things that I needed, that I thought I needed to be successful in this industry. When I first started, got out of the Navy and I started doing various things and working for shops and whatever, I worked for a race team here or there, and like many young guys, I probably had more enthusiasm than experience and knowledge, and so I thought I'm just going to start my own shop. And I found a buddy, kind of partnered up with me, had a little bit more money, and we started a shop. And to be perfectly honest with you, I wasn't really that successful. I felt like I knew a lot of stuff. I felt like we were building a lot of cool stuff. But like so many people in the race industry, I started out as more of an enthusiast and not enough of an entrepreneur. I didn't know what it took to run a business, much less what it took to do real engine development and research and learn. So I kind of struggled and fumbled my way through that first couple of years of experience, like so many stories I hear come to the school. And then at some time around 2003, which is 18 years ago now, I started to realize that there was a missing link, there was a lack in the automotive industry, at least in the racing, where everybody at that time was an engine builder. Whether you're an engine builder, engine assembler, engine machinist, we'll just kind of lump them all together. But what I saw was a lot of older generation guys that were still clinging to the old ways, the old methods, carburetors and distributors. But there was this whole new technology that was on fire at the time, which was engine management electronically, EFI and drive-by-wire throttles and variable cams and fuel injection and multiple coils per cylinder and all that kind of stuff, which being young, I sort of gravitated to and quite easily took it on and was making a reputation at my shop for being the guy that all the other people would bring their engines to after they built them to get them tuned. And so the more I was tuning, the bigger the reputation got. I ended up writing a book for SA Design called Building and Tuning High Performance EFI Systems back in about the year 2000 or so, something like that, about 20 years ago now. And that led to some credibility. Whether I actually deserved it or not, I don't know, but it gave me the kind of credibility that people would actually listen to what I had to say. And I realized that we had this whole generation of engine builders who didn't really have the embrace yet of computers and EFI and technology. So I thought, geez, I'll put together kind of a little lecture for a weekend and teach some friends that I know that are engine builders about EFI. And frankly, I never thought anything of it other than that. So I didn't really think a lot of people would be interested. I was just going to do it a weekend, and then I got a phone call from a racer that I knew who we'd competed against here and there. And he said, hey, I got this shop down here in Texas. Why don't you come down here and do that little seminar that you were talking about at our place? And frankly, I said, no, sorry, I'd love to, but I can't do that. And he goes, why not? And I go, well, I'm like working 70, 80, 90 hours a week. I'm barely making ends meet. I just don't think I could even afford to go. And he said, well, what would it take? Let's just charge people money. And I was like, charge people money? What are you talking about? And they go, oh, yeah. And I thought, well, geez, I don't know if you'd find anybody that would want to listen to a lecture on how to tune engines. And he said, well, you think about it and call me back. And so I did, and I thought about it, and I said, well, okay, here's the deal. I think if you could find maybe 7 guys that would give us, say, $300, that would cover my airfare, my hotel, my expenses. I'll come to Texas, I'll do it, and we'll see what happens. But honestly, don't get your hopes up. I don't really think you're going to find 7 people that'd be willing to pay money for this. And boy, was I wrong. I knew a lot about the industry, but I didn't know how big the gap was. So I showed up down there in Texas in June of 2003. We did the first ever EFI 101 training course about how to tune engines using fuel injection, and 24 people showed up. I was blown away. That was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe there was this much demand. And so we had a great time. I talked all weekend. I probably didn't shut up the whole time I was there. People seemed to love it, and it was great. So I went home with a smile on my face, a little extra folding money in my pocket. It was great. I went back to work. And then about a week later, I got another phone call from a guy. And he said, hey, I'm in New Jersey, and I heard about that thing you did in Texas. Why don't you come to New Jersey and do it again? And I go, nah, man, no way. That was a fluke. You're not going to find enough people, And he said, well, let me try it. So I said, okay, fine. And man, I was wrong again. Something like 32 people showed up to that one. And all of a sudden I realized, wow, I'm missing the boat here. I'm over here in the shop working all the time, not making any money, barely getting by. I could do 1/10 as much work and just talk all the time, and people would give me money for that? Like, all right, I'm in. So I did one more seminar in September of 2003. That was the third one I'd ever done, and at that point I realized, man, there's a real need in this industry. So sometime after that, I decided I'm going for it. I went full-time in January or so of the following year, 2004, and we started traveling all over the world. I think now we've been to 8 or 9 different countries. Over the years, we've developed tons of new classes and new features, and I think we've had more than 10,000 people physically come to us, either on a weekend seminar or one of our training classes here at EFI University, to learn about engine technology. And all I really did was build the kind of place that I would want to hang out in, and it turns out a whole bunch of you guys think it's cool too. And then about, 6 or 7 years ago, I started to realize that the demographic has changed, and that what was once a bunch of older guys that didn't know computers has slowly changed more and more into a bunch of younger guys that really embrace computers, but have lost the old, passed down of tribal knowledge about engine stuff. I literally have had people come to my training classes on how to tune engines with a laptop that couldn't tell me the difference between a crankshaft and a connecting rod. They don't know engines because they don't have that experience. So we started an engine development. At that time, it was just an engine building and engine blueprinting program where people could come and actually physically touch it and put their hands on it and do it. And over time, that morphed into our racing engine, high-end, what we call the competition engine development program that we have today, where we've just continuously grown and added to the school. So now we have the engine dyno, we have the flow bench, we have the microscope, we have the spintron behind me, we've got 2 roller dynos, a hub dyno, we've got the CNC plasma table, the diamond CNC honing machine. All that happened because the more times I ran into roadblocks on building our own projects so that we could learn and do research and development, we'd get the next tool or piece of equipment that we needed. So that here I am 20 years later, hanging out in my really cool engine shop and not really any real customers, So I built a shop that had all the great stuff that a great, racing engine shop has, but without all the continuous pressure to hurry up and get this engine out the door so this guy could go race. And we never get to stop and just look and listen and try something new. And so really, almost 100% of my job when I'm not in the classroom teaching is doing research and development solely for the purpose so that I can learn. Because if I'm not learning, I can't push the boundaries and I can't get new information to be teaching all of you guys. So when you come to one of the EFI University courses, whether it's a How to Tune Engines course, our accelerated certification program out there, whether you come to a competition engine development course, whether you take one of our online courses, you're always getting information that is up to the minute, cutting edge. And you know, the last year or so, one lesson that I really learned through COVID was that there's so many people out there that wish they could come and hang out and just be here that can't. And so I started to look at how we could address that. Then I started looking at all the people that are lucky enough that have actually come here and they know how much fun it is to be at the candy store. And their biggest complaint is at the end of the week, I got to go home. I lose my access. I can't hang out here anymore. So I thought we need to find a solution for that. And so we built our fraternity at EFI University, and we call it the Delta Lambdas. Delta meaning a change in, Lambda meaning a mixture or air-fuel ratio. So pretty much everything we do to try to improve the engine is either to get more air in and more fuel in and burn it, or to make it run better. So we thought Delta Lambda was a cool name for our fraternity. But the idea of the fraternity was to give all of you guys who want it more access more of the time. So rather than having to find a week to get off work and then travel to Arizona and come hang out at our facility, which is always fun and always terrific, just not everybody can do it. So we started a weekly program where I can give and teach lessons, and some of our guest industry leaders can give lessons. And then we put it up as a video that everybody can see 24/7 anytime they want. Then what we do is about once a week we get together live on the internet through the Zoom technology, which really kind of took hold of the industry during the whole COVID lockdown of 2020. People couldn't go outside, people couldn't travel. We still needed a way to communicate and have a relationship and connect with each other. And Zoom became a great way to do that. So we've just leveraged that technology for our fraternity. And now once a week, we have this group of people that are heavily into engine building, engine tuning, cylinder head development, you name it, all parts of the industry, some really big names doing really impressive things, get together and talk about what's going on. We talk about the lesson. We talk about what's happening in the shop here. It's a way for you guys to get connected, form a relationship with other industry leaders, and be able to grow a path forward, because it's that same old thing. How are you going to get more experience unless you get more experience? And this place is a way that we allow people to do that. So hopefully you have some interest in what we teach here and what we do here. Everything we do is cutting edge, state of the art, high end. We're not looking to build cookie cutter, same old stuff. We're always pushing the limits, which means sometimes we fail. Sometimes we break stuff. Sometimes we make mistakes. And nobody learns more than me when that happens, but all of us get to share in that experience. And so I think we have a lot to offer you guys. I hope you'll check us out on our website, on our Facebook page, and I really hope you'll come visit us. But if you live in a location or you have the type of job that just won't let you come visit, no sweat. Just join our fraternity online. It's easy, like monthly subscription-based membership, so you can get in. You can stay in as long as you want. You can get out whenever you don't. I haven't had anybody leave yet, funny enough, though, because they get in and they can't believe how much value they get for that money. But I hope you guys will give us a chance to meet your needs and help you improve whatever level of EFI or engine tuning or engine management, vehicle management, drag race, road race, you name it, or engine building stuff you're into. I think we have something that can help you, and I'd love for you to come visit us. So thanks for your time, and I hope to see you out there.
What a day, what a day, what a day. Yeah, my brain is swollen. I've learned so much today. They told us, don't start cars. We are not going to listen.